Welcome back, farmers. I went ahead and got myself a cameraman for the day so we can make this one nice and sweet for you. First, I want to start off by talking about the 6 plants that I put in the ground last episode. I just want to say that they're doing very well. I have 2 red meat watermelons, and this one has already sprouted some true leaves. We're still waiting on them for those. We have a lemon drop watermelon that has sprouted its first true leaf. The squash is doing excellent and has a few true leaves. One big one right here. And then the 3 cucumber plants that we put down are also doing very well. I would also like to say that the tomato, the micro tomato that we started last episode, is doing really well. And the 3 jalapenos, they're not doing the best, alright? But I do think that they're going to make a strong comeback here as the summer continues. It is Labor Day and it's very hot, so some of these plants are really going to start taking off. I would also like to point out that the onions, where I put down mulch, have been growing back very well compared to the ones that don't have the mulch. Over here, when we look at the peas, we now have some flowers, and hopefully we have some pea plants or actual peas coming in here soon. Both of them have started to put off flowers. You have some in here as well. So then we also have the grow bag that we're growing potatoes in. You want to take a look in here. You can see potatoes on that near side. We have a few more sprouting up. And here's something I've been wanting to show on the videos that we have not been able to show until now. The root system of these hydroponic peppers. If you remember the very first video that I posted, the roots only came to the bottom of the net cup. They're making their way down the bucket, and when they're pure white like that, you know that they're getting plenty of nutrients. And some of these ones that aren't in contact with the water are oxygen roots. And you can see that in both sets of these hydroponic peppers. So these fresh white roots will just keep growing down until the pepper produces. So that's a quick garden update for what we've got going on right now. Alright, so if you look here in the raised bed, we have a bunch of little potato plants starting. If you recall from that one episode that I started with, all we did was put really old potatoes that had eyes growing out of them underneath the topsoil, and they're doing really well. So here in the next few weeks we might add a little bit more soil to the ones right here and keep mounding them up, so that way potatoes can grow from the bottom of this all the way up to the top. And we're going to also do that with the grow bag potatoes, and at the end of the summer we're going to see which one yields the most. And I think that'll be a really cool experiment that we'll be able to look into later. I want to talk about the peppers that I transplanted in the last video. Come take a look at these. Yep. They all died. So the only peppers that survived were the orange jalapeno. They're struggling, but they're still alive. And the banana peppers. They're also struggling, but they're barely holding on. Everything else pretty much died. I don't know if I didn't harden them off correctly or if I left them in these peat pellets for too long. But overall, I don't have a pepper crop for this year. So in order to grow any peppers, I'm going to have to go to the nursery and probably pick up some more. I tried to start them from seed and it just didn't go well. So if I do go get some more, they're going to be banana peppers, and we're just not going to have very many peppers on this channel this year. So I need to transplant these sweet potatoes into grow bags. So I'm going to take the safe route and use potting mix to grow them in the grow bags. You can grow these in the ground, but for me, this is such a good variety of sweet potato that I want to grow at least a few so I can get more slips for next year. I don't think the goal this year is to grow as many sweet potatoes as possible. I definitely just want to grow enough to where we can have some to eat around Thanksgiving, but have enough for some slips for the next season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break all these up that are in this pot and put them into different 7-gallon grow bags. And to do that, we're going to fill these up with potting mix. One of the great things that you can do with growing sweet potatoes in grow bags is you don't have to dig them up at the end of the season. You grow them in the grow bag. When the end of the season happens, you pick the grow bag up, you dump it over, and see how many sweet potatoes you got. It doesn't get much easier than that. So these 7-gallon grow bags fit about, 1 cubic foot of potting mix in them. So each one of these bags will be able to fill up one of these fabric containers. Another good thing about growing in fabric containers is they are easy to drain. You fill it up with water, all the excess will just drain out. Sometimes with your clay pots or plastic containers, the water is only able to go through the holes at the bottom, but with these it'll drain out any part. Oh wow. Alright, so these things have quickly outgrown that container that they were in. The reason I've waited so long is because where I'm at, the temperature has consistently been below 50 at night, and we're trying to not let these things die. So I kept them inside until temperatures at nighttime stay above that 50-degree range. So we're gonna just break these apart and transplant them into the bags. So you want to try your best not to break the roots when they're all smashed into a container that size. It's going to be difficult to avoid that, but you got to try your best anyways. So we're just going to take we started with 5 slips that all had just one main stem, and we still have them, but as you can see, even here it's kind of split off into a couple different slips. So the reason I'm planting them on each side is because these will take over the whole grow bag. By the end of the summer, this thing will be full of slips, because what sweet potatoes will do, they're a part of the morning glory family, so they'll just put down runners and grow up wherever they get the opportunity to do so. So we're going to put 2 in that one, and then probably 2 in this one, and 1 in here, because I only have 3 bags of potting mix. This one's gonna do the best out of all of them, I think.
Gonna turn out.
Is it gone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so I had a very unsuccessful germination timeline for the year. I didn't do a very good job germinating the peppers. I mean, they did okay, but I didn't take care of them. I was at college. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but it happens. So we went to the nursery and we picked up a few more plants, so that way the garden's not completely empty this summer. And we started off by getting a golden bell pepper. So this looks like a yellowish orange bell pepper. So we're going to start with that. We're going to put that in the garden today. And then we got 6 Sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. Not too familiar with the variety, but we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. And then last but not least, we got some yellow straight neck zucchini. So I'm going to put all these in the garden today and give them a good water, and that'll be it for the video. There is one surprise at the end that I do want to show you. It involves the very first video I filmed, and it's ready right next to the grow tent. I also need to water these in because potting mix is hydrophobic. Don't cancel it, but it does repel the water at first. So anytime you use potting mix, make sure you give it a good water, because it will repel it at first. So you got to make sure it's pretty well soaked. Alright, so you may be wondering, hey, what are you holding here? I'll get to that here in a second. But first, I want to point out that we did plant all of the tomatoes in the garden. We also planted the golden bell pepper, and we planted the 4 long neck squash. So we're going to keep adding to the garden as time continues throughout the summer. But enough of that, I want to get into this right here. If you remember in my very first video, I wanted to propagate some of the pepper plants that were growing in my grow tent. So I took some cuttings and put them in this water bottle. Well, we have some good news. One of the plants right here, the sweet bonnet pepper cutting that I took, has some very nice roots growing out of the bottom. So what we're going to do is plant it in a small pot with some potting mix and make sure it gets plenty of water, and hopefully have a brand new pepper plant from this cutting by the end of the summer. That will be it for this video. Hopefully everything continues to grow decently. So it is a bummer that some of the pepper plants didn't make it, but that's what this channel's for. We're all learning together, including me. I obviously don't know everything, but I'm really excited to put this in the potting mix, and that'll be it for this video. So here's that sweet bonnet pepper cutting and the roots that have now been propagated after sitting in that bottle of water for about 2 weeks. And all we're gonna do is take this pot filled with potting mix, and we're gonna stick it in here. And that's it. We're gonna wait for this thing to grow bigger roots, and maybe at some point move it to the garden before the end of the summer. So this is a Chinen's variety, so it takes quite a while before it'll produce peppers. I might move it to the garden at some point, but we'll just see how that goes. So thanks for watching the video. If you have not subscribed yet, do that. And if you have not followed my TikTok, do that. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I'll be giving away some KS white Thai pepper seeds. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.